Ron Howard breaks down Sydney Sweeney's challenging a birth scene in Eden. Sweeney stars alongside Ana de Armas and Jude Law in Howard's latest film. Neither Sydney Sweeney, nor her genes, was harmed during the making of Ron Howard's new survival thriller Eden. But the actress was definitely put through the emotional ringer during one standout sequence from the film, which opens in theaters on Friday, nearly 1 year after its world premiere at the 2024 Toronto International Film Festival. Based on a true story, Eden unfolds a decade after the end of World War I, when German citizens Margaret Whitmer, Sweeney, and her husband, Heinz, Daniel Bruhl, left their native land to start a new life on one of the Galapagos Islands. The couple is following in the footsteps of fellow expatriate and botanist Dr. Friedrich Ritter, Jude Law, who fled war-ravaged Europe with wife Dora, Vanessa Kirby, to create a new world in the tropics. But those ambitions run headlong into the realities that come with trying to build a utopia from the ground up, including a lack of resources and food, a sudden abundance of toil and, in Margaret's case, a risky pregnancy. And that's before a proverbial snake enters this would-be Eden in the form of the hedonistic Eloise, Ana de Armas, a pretend baroness who always puts her own comfort first. From their first meeting, Margaret is suspicious of Eloise's motives for setting up camp nearby the cave that doubled as Margaret and Heinz's homestead. And those suspicions prove well-founded. When Eloise runs out of food, she dispatches her all-male entourage to plunder their neighbor's larder. That raid happens just as Margaret goes into labor while she's alone, and at the same time that a pack of wild dogs turn up on her doorstep. Clocking in at nearly 10 minutes, the ensuing birth scene is one of the most harrowing sequences in Howard's filmography. And the Oscar-winning director gives full credit to Sweeney for rising to the occasion. It was challenging, but Sydney was so impressive and emotionally connected, Howard tells Gold Derby. She wanted to deliver for the audience, for us the filmmakers, and for the real Margaret Whitmer. I'll always remember how tenacious she was in executing that scene, and that's the way she was throughout the entire movie. The real Whitmer lived on Floriana Island in the Galapagos from 1932 until her death in 2000 at the age of 95. Howard reveals that the entire birth sequence took roughly 8 days to film in 100-degree heat and required a first and second unit crew, the latter of which was overseen by Eden screenwriter Noah Pink. We had an actual doula come in and help Sydney during pre-production, and she was there during filming too, he adds. This is something that really happened to Margaret, and I wanted the women in the audience to recognize the authenticity of what she went through. Of course, what most women don't face while they're giving birth is a pack of wild dogs. According to Pink, those dogs enjoyed some on-set perks that their human counterparts didn't receive during that portion of the scene. We had these little cabins that were air-conditioned to keep the actors cool, he recalls. But those were for the dogs that day. I love dogs, so the hardest part about that scene for me was not being able to pet them, he adds. They were working, but I just wanted to snuggle them. Even on an 8-day schedule, the demanding logistics of the sequence left Howard and his star with little time to improvise. The sequence was very carefully shot-listed, the veteran filmmaker says of how he directed Sweeney. We combined first and second unit a lot. But as much as we discussed it, some stuff still had to be discovered in the moment. Howard also singles out another sequence from Eden as being among his most favorite scenes he's captured as a director, an extended lunch hosted by Eloise where she serves the other guests, including Margaret and Heinz, the food she's stolen from the couple. That was a case where we had to shoot 9 or 10 pages in a day and a half, he remembers. The entire ensemble was there, and they were so supportive of each other. And Anna had to go so out there on a limb creatively with her performance. It terrified her, but she executed it brilliantly.